Well, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're joining us from today. Hey, we're excited. This is a beautiful Tuesday, fall out here in New England. So starting to get a little cooler, and some of the kids are getting ready for Halloween. So we're having a really good time out here. We hope you're having fun. This today is our first webinar that we actually moved from Thursday to Tuesday. So a few of you, if you missed that notice, for the next few and for the rest of the year, we're actually going to be moving to Tuesday. I have a slide on that. But I wanted to get started by saying thank you. Thank you for joining. We're going to be talking about AI and how it's changing portfolio management today. And we'll actually explain what that means, what portfolio management means. But as I alluded to, wanted to let you know that we are moving to Tuesdays. So bright new day. It's like that best series that you watch that has moved nights because they want to compete with the new show that came out. Well, all in all, we worked with a few of our partners, and a few of them have Thursdays as well. So we didn't all want to compete. So we chose Tuesdays, another person chose Wednesdays, and then we Thursdays. So PPM community playing well together from Microsoft all the way down. So go ahead and make sure that you not only listen to ours, but everybody that's out there has great webinars. Wanted to also just talk about our next two. So we have two coming up here. We have enterprise project management with a modern environment. So that is really going to be using M365 and pulling you into modern workspace, really, in the workplace there. It's also going to talk about some other tools and partners tools that we use that are out there, and really how we feel from more of a tool agnostic approach of getting the work done with the best tool set and processes that are out there. And then at the end of the month, hopefully no snow in the New England area by then, but there might be. At the end of November, it's going to be talking about reporting. So we're going to dive deep into that modern tool set for reporting, but also highlight some of one of our partner called OnePlan's tool set that's out there in and around, not only Power BI, but let's take a look at what else is out there. So two exciting webinars that are coming up. We definitely enjoy doing these and hope that you also get a lot out of it. At any time, you can reach out to us and look at that, all our events that are out there on our website /events. Also, if you have any questions throughout this webinar or while you're watching this, if you are in a recorded mode, go ahead and reach out to us at info@ppmworks.com. That'll be at the end slides too, but again, info@ppmworks.com. Now today, what are we going to talk about? AI, and it's important to note that AI specific capabilities and integrations are going to continue to move forward and evolve just like the technology does. So we are October 24th, 2023. So depending on when you're watching this recording, and thank you for watching, it may have changed it, right? There might be some things that have been deprecated. There might be some new advancements. So again, this is today. And there's always going to be more. So come back and take a look at, we have this probably topic that's going to play again in 4 or 5 months, and we have some new AI features that are out there and really understand. So make sure you look on the Microsoft site, go ahead and search that, use their AI tool, Bing AI that's out there, or even Google, ChatGPT, whatever happens to be out there. Go ahead and make sure that you're getting the latest and greatest. So what are we going to cover today? There are two things. We're going to learn what the PPM tools that are out there that are currently using AI that we've used not only in our clients, but also here at PPM Works. And also, we're going to talk about how you can start using those today. My name is Jacques Goupil. We're with PPM Works. We're excited, okay, to share this information with you. But if you have any questions along, go ahead in the chat area, go ahead and ask those, and our colleagues will answer those for you. And if you're again on the recording, go ahead and reach out to us at info@ppmworks.com. So strategic portfolio management. I wanted to start by saying, hey, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. If you have been on one of our webcasts in the past, you can go out there. We've done one on strategic portfolio management using different tool sets. We highlighted both Microsoft Project and the modern PPM solution, as well as OnePlan modern solution that's out there. Two very good tool sets, and we're going to be talking about both of those today as well. As traditional PPM, has moved, okay, and advanced through our organization, you're going to start to hear this term strategic portfolio management. And that may mean have a different term within different organizations. That makes sense, right? Different organizations have different terms, but even within your own organization, that can mean different. So whether you're talking to a marketing group or maybe an R&D group, you may have different terms from a portfolio management perspective. So for us, expanding upon strategic portfolio management takes that portfolio and brings it adapts to the modern world, okay? Brings in not only the new technologies, talk about one today being AI, whether that's Microsoft AI or another AI bot that's out there. And it's really going to bring in all these capabilities that you have out there and help you to figure out what the benefits are. Where should we invest our not only dollars, but our resources and our efforts and our time, right? We all want this nice work-life balance, and a lot of us are doing great at that. But this is where AI can also help, and we'll talk about that. Whether it's like I mentioned, an R&D group, or you're physically creating a product, or a services organization like us, where can you start to use that? And in our demonstrations later today, I want to show you a couple areas where you can do that. There are plenty. I'm just going to take a few. But if you boil this all down and we take a look at this, what are we trying to do and what is AI going to help you with? Well, first and foremost, increase productivity. Now, I'll ask you, have you used any tool in the past X years for project or portfolio management? And you're going to say, absolutely, Bozo. Sure. I've used, whether it's a PowerPoint to do presentations, Excel to get those CapEx, OpEx spends, right? Or it could just simply be a process that you put in place. Or what about those big things you jump in and flies you around, those airplanes, right? You are trying to get somewhere and get there faster, right? Same thing. If you can take all your information and align it strategically, get increased productivity out of your organization from portfolio perspective, get to what matters. And that's the third point there, data-driven decisions. And that's really what you're going to do. So if we can have AI and maybe some reports that we've created and insert and do that data cleansing, but also helping us, as a collaborator, perform that information and get that to us, great. Now we can Number four, talk about optimization and really turning that dial and tightening the belt, if you will, in and around not only what we provided for the information for a data-driven decision, but also AI, okay? And when I say AI, I'm using the big term there, whether it is a bot or all these other things I'm going to talk to you about, these different terms, okay? So that's what we're doing. So what terms have you heard about, or what terms are we going to be talking about today in and around AI? So we're going to talk about first and foremost rule-based AI. What is that? Well, that is based on a set of predefined rules or logic. So think about this, there's that if that then, right? And you can code that way. So really coming in and think about this as AI is going in and solving a mathematical problem, introducing different logic equations, statements that take maybe a large amount of data and it can spot those patterns, okay? And so it's a rules-based. There's also machine-based learning or machine learning in here, and that involves a computer system or recognizes different patterns that you may have out there and starts to put those things together, whether like we're doing now, and the transcript is for Teams right now, and it's taking my words and putting them in, right? And it's going to recognize not only the language as being a pattern of communication, but also it will recognize those and start learning. I had the great fun opportunity against work-life balance of bringing our kids down to the Science Museum and brought our youngest down. And there was a whole exhibit there with Boston Dynamics and other great robotic companies that pumped in some money and have this exhibit down there. So it's that robotic dog that you see that jumps around and goes up the stairs. Pretty darn cool. You saw that a long time ago when you think, gosh, Terminator's coming, right? Well, AI is not that, but you can have machine-based learning. Could it get there? Potentially, but what we're talking about today is not these robotics of that kind of machine. We're talking about machines learning a particular process, knowing when we have a particular risk that we should really dive into, or knowing when a process should be automated or sent for approval, something like that in your current portfolio life cycle. So think of it that way. The next is deep learning. Now, deep learning, again, is machine-based learning, and what it's going to bring you through to is really understanding the technical and the technique, sorry, of those, or it's going to put out different layers and then take those processes, make those decisions, and keep going. We're talking about realms and huge amount of data. Make a decision, dive into another piece of data, analyze that, spot those patterns, and dive deeper. Okay, so it keeps going and spinning out. You know those spider web Power BI reports that are out. I'll show you one of those. It'll actually use sort of that deep learning, if you will, and that is that example in a Power BI report that I'll show you coming up in a demonstration. The next two are probably the easiest that are recognizable out there, right? And one is the natural language processing, or NPL, and that enables computers to not only understand and interpret what we humans languages are saying. Not only today I'm communicating in English, but it could be any of those languages. It takes, and it's the most common AI that's out there. We speak, it hears it, whether it's a virtual assistant, a chat bot, even a robot at a sushi joint that brings you another drink. Okay, it's using those words and translating into it and interacting with it. Great example of this is going to be Copilot. Whether it is that audio that's interpreting, or it's actually doing sort of this data, or visual cues, taking only pictures and other things. And then generative chat GPT is the biggest example. And for the learning out there, hopefully folks know, but if you didn't, what the heck is GPT? Well, that is just that. It's generative pre-trained transformer. So for those folks out there, again, the generative piece is another form of AI that really comes and right now I could probably is the most popular, right? If you're watching this recording in a few months, maybe something else has peaked that. I highly doubt it, but this is where you're going to go into your Bing or your Google, and you're going to start asking it questions, and it's going to start drilling in and giving you all these websites. If you haven't already searched out there and you type something in, there's a bunch of websites that come up. And then there's this layer, whatever your browser is, and it starts to understand the content and define it, whether it's in a written form, a visual form, even words that come out and you can click on it and explain something, but it's all generated by that GPT, right, in that case. So it's from OpenAI. Everybody knows about that, but that's really what it's going to be doing. So those are the four areas, sorry, really five areas that we're going to be talking about, and bringing that into how AI looks with portfolio management and looking at that strategic portfolio management that we talked about. So the two questions we were going to ask on that first slide, or an answer, I should say, is what tools are we using, and then also how are you using them, and then how can you use them today. I mentioned the two areas that our organization, a lot of our clients use. The number one is going to be Microsoft. So Microsoft 365, there's a lot of AI that's going out there. It's actually called Microsoft AI. If you look that up, there's an entire demo page that's out there. It can go into all these fun things, whether it's, using Word right now to help you craft a document. If you haven't done this already, in your email, right? You're typing up an email. It could use some other tools that are out there. Talk about that in the next slide, but it can help you do different things by looking at what you're writing. Most easiest example there is when we're texting, right? You're texting somebody and it starts to finish your sentence, right, for you. That sort of thing we're talking about, right? Machine-based learning, and they're, in that case, taking that first thing. And then OnePlan is the other one. And it takes OnePlan has their GPT called Sophia, and it's actually learned OnePlan structure. So learning the portfolio piece, the strategy, adaptive portfolio management, tool, and then turns it into actually the data, which we're going to talk about. So what do these all do? They are generative or language-based helpers. We like to think of them, and the partners like to call them collaborators. So you can use that to help yourself, whatever persona you are, whatever you role. Today we're talking about portfolio management. So as a portfolio manager, when you come in, what are we going to ask? How's my project? How are my portfolio doing? What is the top risks? I'm going to show you a few of these things. And then you can actually use, and this is where Microsoft AI comes in as a creator. Can I generate some things, whether it is a report, okay, or it is a explanation of something, or maybe it is even better, it's a visual solution to a problem that we may potentially have. So think of that as creating that. And again, what we're trying to do is use AI so we can make those decisions. Now, a lot of people say, well, is my job as a portfolio manager or project manager, is it going to become easier? Is it going to become harder? Is it going to be obsolete? Do I even have a job? Answer to that is yes to all of it. Again, think about the tools that you had for some of us that have been around for 20 years in project management, and we had back then. It was Microsoft Project by itself. We took a bunch of AI, Excel. We might have pumped them out if you were crafty with relational database and started using Visio for data mapping and things like this. Ring a bell, right? But that's what we're doing now. But the tools are doing that for us. From Microsoft Teams, right? Talking about communication tools, understanding right now the ecosystem that's out there and having AI features such as chatbots that we talked about or other things in Teams. It takes that natural language that we're going to actually talk about and it cues it up. We're being recorded right now. So it's doing that translation, that transcript, and all that stuff. Well, what's really nice is you can actually search that and it can tell you, and you can ask based on this. Hey, what was Jacques talking about? What did he say the top three benefits of AI were? It's going to go through my transcript and spit that out to you, right? It may, in this case, do more than that because there were more than three benefits. But again, use those tools there. Power BI as well. Power Platform is a big one, but Power BI right now, you can go off and take those analytical tools, create visualizations and documents, reports, if you will, and dashboards, and then expand upon those and have AI drill into it even further. I am going to show you an example of Power BI and the Analyze tool that's out there that you can use today. The next three, predictive analytics, task automation, and data visualization. So we use these together, right? Predictive analytics, AI can take project performance they have out there, or portfolio performance, and it can say, hey, do I have any potential risks or delays that are out there? What are my resource constraints that are out there? And I'll show you a sample that we have there. Task automation, you can actually go on and say, can you create, you know, help me create a new business process or a new business process project that's based on these past three historical projects. Brings out your task. So again, it can create these templates for you. So today you can take your GPT chat box and overlay it on your technology or your project portfolio, whatever it happens to be, and use it to help you, okay, create these things. And then that gets to the data visualization pieces as well. Real-time insights, moving that information down the line so you can actually have data-driven decisions. The bottom row there is really going to, again, take all your documents, do some searching capability using Microsoft Search and Graph that's out there. Microsoft Graph, if you don't know what that is, go ahead and search it. It makes things, project-related documents easier to find, things like that. There's also Delve out there, but think of it sort of that way. It looks at the documents while you're in your email and says, hey, I'm responding on this particular slideshow, right? And I want to add in some slides. It's going to say, hey, Jacques, there were three other slide decks that maybe you reviewed in somebody else's kickoff meeting, or maybe within that project or that portfolio, or that maybe you were working on. or a colleague was working on. Do you want to add slides? Right-hand side, add slides. It opens up and says, hey, right now you're working on a financial area. Here are 4 other financial slides that maybe you want to reuse. Maybe you can use the data to create this slide. Check it out. It's really cool. Okay. Um, Cortana, it's been around for a long time. Again, analyzing historical project data. Hey, Cortana, take a look at, last 3 projects and, do an interpretation. Give me some information that I can read into my status report. The integration with the project management software out there, if it's Microsoft Project or Project Online, Project Server, we have third-party or our tools that can help you. If it is Project Online, the integrations that are there, we have great partners that are out there. We're just one PPM partner that's there. Take a look at what we have. Take a look at what other people have. There's some great stuff, okay? Before you create it yourself, see if it's out there, right? Use these partners. Azure Machine Learning, it's going to take the cloud performance, how are we doing across our PPM? Where are some project timelines potentially that we need to, resource utilization, whatever it happens to be. Really, that would be more machine learning. You can start to train it to maybe look for your risk assessments or potentially even your portfolio optimization. Now, and the last is Project for the Web. Now, this is a really great tool. It's more of a lighter weight, not really going to be the enterprise solution that we know of that was Project Online or some of these other solutions that are out there for the modern PPM or SPM solutions. But again, you can connect this and use it maybe to create the dependencies within your schedule. Do that way. It can automatically help you with resource efficiencies, okay? Things like that that's in there. It can provide recommendations. Say, hey, had you thought about this, right? Should you do that? All right, so that's sort of the overall about AI. The next is going to be the information in and around the AI suite from a Power Platform perspective. Now, we all know that there's really 3 power platforms. Now they're moving into virtual agents, and you're also going to have virtual pages. So they keep asking, or sorry, power pages. They keep adding into these power things, but it's all under the power platform. It number one is going to lead, okay, when you talk about this with Power BI and what we can do from an analytic perspective, a visual representation of data, and drilling or scrolling into that data, all right? That's what we all know about. But there is this thing called AI Builder. And what that's going to do is it actually helps you with creating automations through your generative AI solution that's out there. And it helps you in 2 ways. You can do it with your apps, or you can do it with automation, or both. So it can take a look and say, hey, we're going to tailor and create this AI model based within Power Apps, okay, to solve a solution or a need that you have, right? So you can start to use these and it creates intelligent automation for you. How does that work within portfolio? Well, what if you wanted to take a look at your portfolio lifecycle and at a certain given time, you need a set of approvals, okay? Well, it can't get there unless something else is done. So it can intelligently come through and give you a reminder, say, hey, this project has not been done, or we haven't heard a status update in 2 weeks, 2 months, etc. Let's go and reach out to this group, right? Now, again, you could automate everything and it could be sort of that big sister, big brother scenario, or again, providing you that data that you can do what you need to do from a human side of it too. So we have this AI, right, which is artificial intelligence. We also have HI, human, right, intelligence that's working out there. And you need both in this case. Copilot is out there, and now if you're one of the e-suites, you probably do have Copilot already in there. It's working within your emails. It's working in there, like I mentioned, through M365. If you don't have it, go ahead and look or talk to your IT administrator, and chances are you probably have it. The first one that's going to start with Copilot out there is going to be the virtual agents. Now, virtual agents, again, helps you turn conversations into actions, all right? So it's going to help you and it sort of guides you through this method of turning a discussion into follow. So maybe we have a discussion and I say, and if you haven't done this already in Outlook and something, you type say, hey, I'll get back to you tomorrow on that, right? Or even in a call, a Teams call. Guess what comes tomorrow? Boom. Hey, Jacques, you told Samantha that you were going to get back to her tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's today. Did you do that? Up pops a task, little checkbox. Yes, I did. Or nope, create a task. Where do I want to create that? Maybe in Planner, maybe in Project for the Web, maybe I want it in my Teams area. Okay, a very good sample of how this is going to work for you. Power Automate, like what Microsoft calls it, I took this from their website, is, describe it to design it, right? So Power Automate is going to be more of that workflow piece. It used to be flow, if you remember what that was. So again, what do I need to do? Describe to this point, okay, then it designs where it's going to go. AI is going to help you. You said you're going to get to here, now I need to send her approval. Who do I send it to? I noticed that there's an approval group out there. Do I want to send it to my IT approval, my marketing approval, my senior leadership, whatever it's going to be? So AI says, hey, I know where we're at in this step. I'm going to dictate and tell you where you could go with this, right? Sending an email, driving back into your modern solution, whatever it happens to be. That actually is in preview out there. So as of October 2023, still in preview. The other two that may be in preview for you, depending on what you have, is Power BI. When you get in there, I'll show you a couple things that are already released, but there's some additional things with AI and Copilot, in this case with BI. And I'll talk to you about those. And then Power Pages, it's been around for a while, but then it's been quiet. It really is going to help you with creating little websites, whether they're individual team sites or you're creating these for different clients, etc. It's going to help you do that. It's kind of cool. How do we use that in portfolio management? Probably not too much, but maybe your teams do need help creating these, whether it's a Teams environment, a Teams template. Again, you can sort of use some of these. So how do we use some of these features today? I gave you some examples. I want to visually show you a few things here now, both within the Microsoft AI area and also another modern partner that we have called OnePlan. I'll show you a couple. Now, I don't know if these are even top down, so put these on a slide, thinking about these. The first one's going to be that AI-based, generative language-based questions, right? You already know that, you're experiencing that if you're using Chat GPT out there, if you're using any of these bots, if you're going out and buying something online, typically there's a bot that pops up and not only says, hello, how are you doing, or welcome back, you ordered this in the past, right? Do you want something else? You ordered this in blue. Let's take a look at red. That's great use of technology in a commerce section of our world today. From a portfolio management perspective, what if we say, hey, show me this portfolio and show me the highest risks and the expected impact that it could have, right, on our portfolio. I'm going to show you a few of those. Data entry. This happens all the time. You're typing in Excel, it starts filling out the things for you. Autofill, right, pops up. You start typing in a response in a status report, it starts filling in, right? It knows, it searches the data, right? Your email response, okay? There is Viva Goals out there and also Viva Sales for CRM. As you start typing in things in both either of those, it starts helping you out. So not only helping you from a data entry, but information retrieval and communication, those example. And last, again, all those again, identifying what portfolio or project we have, historical based estimations that you can use. And then the big one is data anomalies. Like, why the heck on earth, this all looks right, but this little project over here, man, this is just not working. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, how it can be so far behind or why it's saving so much money. How can we spend so little and get so much benefits? Oh, shoot, we added another zero, right? Something like that they have. So I'm going to start off with talking about Microsoft AI. And I'm actually going to talk about this sample of doing Power BI within Teams. So sort of taking two or three things that we just talked about, sort of stuffing them in here. This is a screenshot. So let me go ahead and open up and get to our sample here. So in this case, from a portfolio management perspective, we have collaboration. We're in one area. We're using AI to tell me detail, bring that data in here. I happen to be looking at a different campaign here. I can see that our opportunities by our different areas or regions. And as I come through here and I start to really again, more of that deeper, right? We talked about the top machine learning, and there's sort of that deep dive for AI here. I can start to say, well, let's find, with the highest value, for this metric. So if we're looking at tablets, let's go to a lower level at the highest value that we have. And it's going to say, boom, okay, I found something, territory. Makes sense in this data. And so from a tablets, we went from North America into tablets, and then we went boom into the US, Canada, et cetera, Mexico. And I can start to see that, wow, there's a lot of data here. And I can keep drilling into this, and it's going to start to figure this out in this composition tree that we have, or decomposition in this case. Another sample that we're talking about is right here. Boom, information's being spat out to us. Verbal, whether I'm talking to it or it's looking at the data and saying, hey, our revenue summary is XYZ. And if I come into a particular point here, it will start, recognizing what that is. And I can also then drill down and say, analyze. This is, again, where sample of AI within Power BI is taking a look at the data for me and saying, can you analyze this, and why did this decrease, or why did this increase, or why did, this particular portfolio have so many delays, right? So we're going to analyze this. Because we're in a visual representation of a report or a dashboard, it's going to respond to that. It says, hey, I know something. Let me give you right back some data. And it says these two areas, computers and furniture, had the most significant decrease for our product category. Okay. And you can see those just there and think, yeah, but I sort of think of it a little different. Well, there's a ribbon chart. So now I can see that, yeah, here's my computers. They drop down. Okay, as well as my furniture, my decrease here. So again, it's taking a look at the data. I could scroll down here and say, oh, like that's really what I was looking for. It had the three most significant decrease among this, what we're looking at as far as the factor. Okay, so it's going to look at all the data and it's going to start giving us some information. So very easy to use, getting out there into Power BI. You can look on our website or go onto Microsoft. There are plenty of samples out there that you can look at for Power BI in this. Now with schedules, we talked about that as well. You could use your GPT to create a template based on historical information like we did here. We reached out and said, create a design project. It looked back at all our design projects, and there's not too many tasks that we have here, but it said, yep, I'm going to go ahead and grab them, make them really generic in this case. I went and changed this to architecture design by renaming it. That was not AI. We did that ourselves. And then you could come in here and see, they have generics, you can replace those, or maybe they said for all design, this is how many people we had, and these are the start and finishes, and you can tailor it here. So just two simple examples there that I talked to you about in Microsoft AI, helping you with project and portfolio management. Now, if we want to dive deeper into Lens, I wanted to switch over and talk about within the other tool that we mentioned at the top of the hour, which is OnePlan. Now, OnePlan is a strategic portfolio management solution. We're a partner of OnePlan, and we offer this tool in conjunction with Microsoft. So it is built on Microsoft. We would sit down with you and figure out what solution is the best for you. Is this one, is Microsoft, out of the box PPM solution, the modern solution, good for you? We walk through it. We talk about the pros and cons. So here within it, talking about portfolio optimization. So how do we do that in this case? Well, again, we talked about data analysis. They can use their GPT solution. They named it Sophia, and they can look at, looking at project portfolio and driving into the goals or the resources or maybe even the risks, helping to identify those different trends from a budgetary perspective, right? You can also talk about prioritization. Not only looking at that data and helping you discern what it is, but also they can start to be that collaborator from a predictive perspective. So taking a look and helping you avoid any potential issues that you have out there or high level risk. Hey, that risk just became an issue because this is what I saw, right? And I'll show you a couple samples there, risk assessment, etc. You could ask questions, right? This is OnePlan here we're showing you, and you can provide a summary of the portfolio data. right? And it's going to, boom, trim that out. And probably in this case, what it will do, it will bring you into words, but also a link to a report. Okay. You could ask this as well as, what, in this case, which plans will allow me to maybe maximize my benefits with minimizing overall budget, right? So I want high benefits, low budget. So bang for my buck report, right? And you could probably, get in there and see that. This sort of walks through, you can create the chat GPT, go in there, and there, boom, it already has a question there for you. So there it goes. It's starting to go through projects and epics. We come in here, tells us how many we're having. We can have our budget range of what we're doing here, our estimated start, estimated finish. It keeps going through and says, hey, by my business units involved, and that's what we got. Now we can say, hey, which one has the risk? Explain why, like I talked about. It's going to discern that data and start to give me some reasoning behind that. So again, the tool set itself looks and analyzes your data, understands what, in this case, OnePlan has from a data perspective, and it starts to learn OnePlan, but also your data. And in this case, you can see there's prioritization score as the highest prioritization score is 75, and it gives you some samples. Again, it helps you take a look at that data and gives you those factors for why you should be looking in one direction or another. Okay? So pretty darn helpful tool in this case. Um, what else can you do with um, the Sophia chatbot? A lot, okay? Here's just another example. This was that summary one that I just went through, but you could come in here and say, give me some trends that you have out. It's going to take a look at this data. Again, it's going to re-look at all of my portfolio, all of my information, and start providing me some of that information. As it gets to learn your data, it will become a little bit smarter and it starts to understand not only your data, but the types of questions that you ask as well. So good stuff there. What else do we have? We're coming to the end here, and I wanted to thank you, first of all, for your time and your attention here. If you had any questions, I know you might have submitted a few for those that are online here, but if you are doing this during recording, send it off to info@ppmworks.com. But I highly recommend, go ahead. Our colleagues out there and our partners that post on our YouTube site, we've done tremendous stuff out there. So go ahead and take a look. Subscribe so you'll get a post, a little warning when we put something up each Tuesday that we create our webinars. And we're also just doing recordings of things, best practices. Hey, we learned this at a client and we wanted to share it with you. Not only do we do that, we also offer some workshops. So you might be eligible for a free workshop and PDUs for those that are out there that need PDUs. So reach out to us. These are hands-on immersion. Microsoft sponsors us, and so do some of our other partners that are out there. Give us dollars, give us funding to actually sit and help you with your process in a workshop fashion. So if you are interested in that, again, go ahead and reach out to us. I also invite you to connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. Uh, you know, I always like to share information, but I always want to learn. So if there's something cool out there saying, hey, you should check this out. We're doing a webinar. Can you cross promote it? Whatever it happens to be, reach out to us. We're happy to hear it from you. There's that email address, info@ppmworks.com. Reach out to us. Go ahead and sync through the YouTube and you subscribe. Take a look. There were a couple questions about AI. I will post those links they asked for. So one of them was Microsoft's AI site. I'll go ahead and post that as well. There's a lot of great sites out there that you can do. Now, I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to formally close this down. Again, I want to thank you for your time. I'm excited about what AI has in the future for not only portfolio management, but everything we do in and around PPM. Ask the questions of the tools. They will bring back that data in a cohesive way that you can then make a data-driven decision. That is the goal. That's what we're seeing not only trending for us in the space, but also with our tools that we're using. So I want to thank you on behalf of PPM Works for joining us. All my colleagues out here from north, south, east, west, and across the board, have yourself a great day and enjoy the evening. Thanks again.